I will pray for you, but if you get on my nerve, I will cuss you smooth out. My mouth ain't under control yet, and I can throw these hands. And let me tell you something, if I get my hands on you, I promise you, you gonna know you've been in a fight. But I'm trying not to go there because I'm in transition.
Listen, I had to play that. Listen, it has been a hell of a day. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the palace. Thank you. Happy Monday. I'm glad all of you pulled up. And listen, I'm sorry I couldn't give everybody a heads up. Typically, I'll give you a 90-minute notice, 2-hour notice. Come on over here. Come on over here because we got to talk. We got to talk. Listen, when I tell you the prosecution, the government slam dunk the hell out of today, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And at this point, Diddy, you may want to call Donald and see if he has any pardons for sale, because this was a baby. When I'm telling, they underestimated. I think we all underestimated the government. And I hope all of the money that Diddy is paying this defense team, y'all better have some type of trick, some type of rabbit you gonna pull out the hat. Because if not, listen, I think they underestimated those girls. That because it's I think it's 4 of them, 4 white girls, plain looking, not a lot of makeup, kind of dull blue suits, not a lot of extra going on. Listen, when I tell you I get it now, I get it. And I've continually said, damn, I marvel at the brilliance in the courtroom on both sides, but the defense got their asses handed to them today. And y'all know I come and I try to be, I try to give you both sides now when everybody's kicking butt and taking names. When I tell you them girls did their thing, and if I can think about it, and if I have to be honest, they walked the defense like a dog. They knew exactly what they were leading up to, and it was a slow build, y'all, it took them 6 weeks, but I think they did it on purpose. They wanted to see what the defense had. And I think at this point, they're striking witnesses. They say, Your Honor, we don't even need to bring everybody that we thought we needed. This is a one and done. When I tell you a one-hit quitter today up in that courtroom, and I mean exactly what I said. Now, that does not take away the fact, and I'm going to tell you, I've said it before, man, those girls are just as sophisticated, dark, demonic, open, and welcoming as Diddy and any other man in the industry. Can I cover that real quick before we go on? I want to give y'all some inside information. And I know I've seen some people in the chat earlier this morning. You said, I don't believe that. I don't believe Jane Doe would have freak offs or did that before. And I can't. Yes, she did. This is what she does for a living. She is allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly, that's how that lady makes her living. And I think some of you are getting it twisted because there's a child that Jane Doe had, and you think because a woman has a child that means she was in a relationship with the man and that she was Molly McButter and Stepford wife and sitting at home baking cookies. Y'all, there are oops that happens in these sex rings. Okay, let me walk it down. These people, can I be honest? We talking about a bunch of druggies. We are talking about a bunch of rich and beautiful druggies, people that do drugs all day, every day, sit around and have sex consensually all day, every day. Listen, I would not lie to you. All of them, all day, every day. And they have to continually take the drugs and ingest the drugs because, listen, they're rich, they're fabulous, they're famous, but they're depressed. So they need these drugs to function, and they've had so much in life. They've had the trips, they've had the shopping, and that's boring to them. Do you not know Diddy is not, let me tell you, Diddy is not the only one. Diddy is not even the head guy. It'll blow some of y'all's minds if you knew who all was running these type of parties. Okay, they're called parties. Now, everybody kind of runs theirs a little bit different. Watch this. Everybody kind of runs theirs a little bit different. Do you know how you see like these Instagram models? Work with me, these beautiful women. And you said, man, they sure are a pass around. She dated him. She dated them. Why are all these men sleeping with the same woman? Why are all these rappers, athletes sleeping because these girls get traded around to different circles. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are y'all following me? These girls get traded around to different circles, but watch this, only the best make it to the top. And here's the thing about women. See, women are built a little bit differently, even when they try to get in the game that's built for men. So women can hoe as much as they want, but eventually women will tap out emotionally. They start to push back a little bit. I want a relationship. I want to stop doing that with you. I'll give you a real life example. I'll give you an example that you all can relate to. Ashley Darby. Ashley Darby is a real housewife of Potomac housewife. Ashley was dating a millionaire white man named Michael Darby. Michael had Ashley doing freak offs. I don't think y'all understand what freak offs are. Freak offs are where you're engaging in sex with more than one person, and it's fetish. It's people with kinks and fetishes. Ashley is the perfect example. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So I think there's a misconception that freak offs are very violent parties and this and this and that. No, you saw a level of exchange of violence between Diddy and Cassie in the Intercontinental Hotel, but typically freak offs do not go that way based on what I'm learning in the test in the courtroom and all of this evidence that the federal government is dropping. These are lovely parties. The girls are participating. We got to see the suites in the hotel room. Beautiful flowers set up. The girls are orchestrating everything. They're happy. I'm on my way. What you doing? I'm sitting back chilling. I'm smoking weed. I'm about to get me something to eat. Y'all on the way. Listen, I'm blown away. Y'all, there's a world beyond your world. And you've got to start getting comfortable knowing that there's people that live life way differently than we do. There's people that are into stuff that you may deem a sin and this and this and that. They don't care. They don't give a damn. And there are women in life that are just as happy to participate. And even I understand that from a particular level, our brains cannot compute that. But guess what? Whether you want to compute it or not, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. You could not have told me that prior to me jumping my black behind on a flight, flying to New York, and sitting in that courtroom. It's happening. I gave you a real life example of Ashley Darby, right? Michael had a contract with her. Some of them call it prenups. I'm finna get deep with y'all, right? Ashley eventually started to push, but Ashley entered the game by doing threesomes. Now, some of you assume that because Ashley is a woman and Michael is a man, that the threesomes were probably with a woman, not necessarily. It's whatever fetish you have. I saw the text messages today that the escort was sending to Cassie, and I'm gonna run that down for you in just a second. So it's whatever goes, whatever they like, how they like it. Nobody's being forced to do anything. But typically what happens when the tension and the friction enters the picture is when the woman, the escort, the prostitute, whatever you want to call her, switches up the game and wants a relationship because she's caught feelings and she feels more connected to the benefactor, to the person that's providing the money, the benefits. What it seems like based on the government's evidence, now it's making sense. So you would say, why are all these women crazy over Diddy? Why do they all fall in love with him? He was a bit more generous with the prostitutes, the escorts, the girls that did escorting. He was a bit more generous and kinder by way of benefit. I'm talking about benefit packages compared to the other rappers, compared to the other celebrities. And I think that's where Diddy got in trouble. I think that's where Diddy began to cross wires with himself. You should have stuck to the plan. You should have stuck to the plan. If that's a client, Diddy, you had no business flying them out, paying for houses, doing this and then this and that. This is where the confusion comes in. And this is why I truly believe that we are in that courtroom today. We're in that courtroom today because Diddy made some very, very, very detrimental mistakes by way of business. Now, let's get into it. So you have Jane Doe, you have Cassie, you have Gina, you have Young Miami, and a slew. Look at all these women, y'all, that are coming out, right? Saying, this happened to me, then I want money. I want money. But have you noticed nobody went to the police? Have you noticed not one of them went to the police? So you have to use a little bit of common sense and say, wait a minute. If everybody's being forced, right? Ain't no man in the world that big and that powerful that some of these women should not have. I mean, some of these women uh, should not have gone to the police, right? That's because they voluntarily entered into an exchange relationship, right? They call it, the terminology that they use is Instagram model. That's undercover for hoe. That's undercover for hoe. Jane Doe is the best of the best of the best. There was a testimony. Not, it wasn't a testimony. There was a gentleman that interviewed with Tasha K that actually did a freak off with Jane Doe and Diddy. And he shared that when he walked in the room, Diddy told him, look at her. Have you ever seen anything like that before? These women eat right, they take care of their body, and they go for the highest price. An example I'll give you is when they talked about that Vegas freak off in 2024, last year of January. Jane Doe testified under oath that a rapper invited her to Vegas on a private jet. She brought along some of her homegirls. Do you not understand what's going on? Some of her homegirls. Now, I don't know if y'all are aware of this. Prior to her getting her ass on that jet, she received $9,000. What do you think that's for? When have men been that generous? I just want to be your friend. Come get on the jet and let me just give you $9,000 because we're besties and because you're such a nice girl. No, it doesn't work like that. So even though she testified that when she got in that room, so she went to Vegas, right? With a rapper named Bear. Please note, there was more than one rapper there. Everybody keeps getting stuck on allegedly Kanye West. There was more than one rapper there. There were 9 people in the room, y'all. The government fought to withhold the names. Follow me very closely. Yes, thank you. Girl, what's the tea? She received $9,000 for her services. But guess what? The government doesn't want to enter that because that would mess up her credibility as a witness, right? As a key witness. So when they asked her, what'd you do? What did you do in that room? Oh, let her tell it. She just did a little dance, flashed her breasts, and went home about her business. However, she did testify that a rapper and his wife were in that room, and a well-known, so there's also men that go for a high price. Let me say that. There's also men that go for a high price in the industry. So you got the women that go for the high price, and then you have these men that go for the high price. Now, according to the testimony, Anton, Anton, is the one that they all want. The men, the rappers, they order Anton. They love to see him perform on the women. And that's what was happening in that Vegas room after she went to dinner with Bear, after they went to a strip club. Now, she did testify that at dinner, she saw Anton at dinner and was a little confused as to why he was there. She shortly found out once she went to that hotel room after they got back from the strip club, right? But she should have already known what was up because you received $9,000. Now, at that point, I knew you was playing in our faces. Girl, ain't nobody just about to just give you $9,000 for free. She is the highest of the high in the industry. She's consistent. She's willing to go all the way. She does a lot. She's experienced. She's probably one of the older ones. She looks fantastic. She keeps herself up. She's been engaged in this lifestyle for quite some time. Okay. Anton is also a top pick, a top recruit. Now, let me back y'all up. Insider information today from a very, very close source. Take notes. Get out your emotions. I'm going to give you some tea. Have y'all ever wondered and thought to yourself, why was Cassie running around with rappers at such a young age? See, a lot of you are linking Cassie with Diddy. Go back and do your research and your homework. Have you ever thought about why was Cassie running around with rappers in the industry. Okay. Cassie was already, let me just say allegedly, participating at a very early age in freak offs. Diddy was not her first freak off. Diddy was not her first freak off. I'm going to let y'all digest that for a second. Okay. Diddy met Cassie when she was 19. And I think she went to his circle at age 20 or 21. The women do move around to the different circles of freak offs by these very prominent, iconic men. Remember, Jane Doe testified under oath that one of the, or two of the rappers were icons in the industry. She ain't lying. But they jump around to the different circles based on what the pay is going for. No different than you applying to a job. No different than you leaving one job for another because you get a pay raise or a pay increase. You get what I'm saying? It's being whispered that the reason why Diddy and Cassie fought so much is because Cassie would go on these drug binges and do freak offs with other men, which made him look bad in the industry. That's the reason that he would get on. Now go back. Remember when he told Bonner, expert testimony, and I read it to y'all where he told Bonner, if you gonna do K with her, basically he was saying you're a shitty friend. Because why would you let her go do that? You're supposed to look after her. Cassie would do drugs and then allegedly participate in freak offs with other men in the industry. Now, here's how it works, y'all. A lot of times they may call the girls their assistants, personal assistants, or their girlfriends, just to be able to fly below the radar. And that's why a lot of y'all get thrown off and say, why is this woman, now why she date Kid Cudi and then dated this one and dated that one? It's how they float below, fly beneath the radar. Well, why is this one, why this girl got 4 different baby daddies and this one got a baby by the NBA star, this one got a baby and she got a baby by a rapper and got a baby by NFL? Freak offs. Freak offs. Now, all the girls are not built the same. Some of them, they tap out. They tap out. They be like, And then you'll hear them saying, this life ain't for me. I'm tired. I need a break. I need this. I need that. Those are not love babies. Those are sex party babies. Those are sex party babies, and which is why now you're starting to see a trend of these younger men are saying, you know what? I don't want no access to that child. I don't care. And then we're blown away. We're saying, why are these men, right? These rich men not wanting these kids? I'm just laying it down for you. That's how it's working. Now go back and sit back and go back and look on the internet and look on Instagram at everything I'm saying. You'll be like, oh shit. Three guys did date this one girl. Freak offs, hotel nights, or sex parties. And they all travel in the same circles. Now, everybody runs theirs a little bit different. Now, let's get into the facts because, baby, when I tell you they brought in 2 key witnesses today, they brought in a summary witness who's a paralegal. Her job is to summarize the charts and to make sure that all of the evidence submitted to her by the trial attorneys is accurate. She establishes chronological order with text, audio, visual, all of that. Then the second witness of the day that they brought on is a special agent. Oh, baby. And when I tell you they both came and they both work, hold on, for the U.S. Attorney's Office, okay? The first one, her name was Anaya. That's the paralegal specialist. The summary witness that's just summarizing for the entire court. Here's this evidence. Here's what this means. Here's who sent it. Here's who received it. She did a really good job of just, listen, this is facts, y'all. This is in black and white. This is in black and white. This is where they have Diddy, KK. Now, I'm trying to figure out if they're going to come after KK. Now, what do you think? KK, this is bad for you. And I wonder if that is a strategic play on the behalf of the government to apply that pressure to KK to be like, because I'm if I have to assume, I'm gonna say KK is probably the last of the Mohicans that hasn't turned state yet, to my knowledge. She might be the last of the Mohicans. And it's funny how when I tell you these four white girls are cold with it, baby. Okay, you don't want to work with us? Let us just put out a little bit of information about you. Let us play audio of you. Let us slip a little bit of this and this. And when I tell you they have receipts that go back 16 years, blew my damn mind. I was wondering, I said, damn, they've been, even though when we think about Ricos, right? A lot of you say, okay, but it has to be within a 10-year period. Well, they can pick the 10-year period, right? They get to pick the 10-year period. So they have receipts, documented receipts, evidence dating all the way back 16 years ago. 16 years ago, right? Flight, like flight manifest. Who's seated where, how much it costs. And this is why they're gonna get them on the Rico. And I don't know if Diddy was they just nailed it. At one point in the trial today, they pulled up a receipt. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. They pulled up a receipt from a place called, let me get my notes. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. It's called AIT, Alpha International Travel, owned by Bad Boy Corporation, if I'm correct. Remember, Diddy owns a slew of businesses. And from Alpha AIT, Diddy, there's an invoice that they pulled up. This is how they you have to establish enterprises. So they pulled up an invoice of Diddy paying Cassie for travel. Now let me back up. So we went over the timeline and the detailed evidence this morning that the U.S. Attorney's Office, their paralegal specialist, was able to walk us down dates, time, location, listen, time zones, who sent what. Let me say this. If you have an iCloud, get rid of it. I'm going to delete my damn iCloud. Get rid of it. They all up in your business. Now, when we came back the second half of the day, the defense was questioning the summary witness. They were able to establish that the government did leave out, or what appeared to be have left out, was some text messages, right? That were in favor of Diddy. Now, let me ask you all that are legal experts. Are there any circumstances, or under any circumstances, is there a valid reason why the government can leave out? If you're saying that you're submitting all evidence, are there any rules where the government can leave things out? Because that's what the defense was pushing for, that they established the government did not include all evidence in those charts. They called out a few texts and phone calls and photos that were left out. And the paralegal assistant also testified that, no, I hadn't seen some of this evidence. And my question, I put, why? So the defense also did a really good job, because what they did earlier, when I say Rico, they established Diddy was paying cash. They got audio, text messages. I need 10K. I need 5K. I need 1,200 for flowers. And it's funny because if you listen to what he's talking about, sometimes flowers mean flowers. And then sometimes flowers is code for weed. Because one time he says, send me 3,500, or send me, I think it was 3,500. Send me 3,500 for flowers. And that should last a month. So you knew they were talking about weed or substances, drugs, right? So flowers could be code for literally flowers or weed, depending on the context of how he used it. So, anywho, the defense did a really good job of coming back to try to clean up, but really, it ain't really too much you can do with that hardcore evidence. They tried to clean up the fact that, listen, it's standard for Mr. Combs to carry this kind of money. That's not anything odd. That's not like anything we should be honed in on. And they were really trying to clean this up, I feel, for the jury, right? I talked about the real reason Cassie and Diddy fought a lot physically. Now, I want to come back, and if I forget, please remind me to talk about the differences between Jane Doe versus Cassie, and also the commonalities between Jane and Cassie. Now, I know who Diddy pissed off. When we say, how do we get here? This has to be this has to be bigger than the free costs. It is. He pissed off De Leon. We know the Ciroc, the person international behind Ciroc. I do believe he pissed off JP Morgan Chase and Alex Fine, Cassie's husband. He had a hand in bringing Diddy down. Okay? He had a hand in bringing Diddy down. He's never liked Diddy since the day Diddy hired him to be Cassie's trainer. Now, why is this important? I'm just giving y'all the tea because it can be mofos around you that don't like you, accepting your money, completing services on your behalf that can stand you, and just waiting for the time to take their shot. And Alex took his shot, and he did a hell of a job, because let me tell you something. Alex took his shot and got 20 million. Watch this. Alex got 20 million. Not Alex. I mean, I'm counting them as one. When I say Alex, to me, they're a union. 20 million from Diddy, 10 million from the Intercontinental Hotel. And guess what? Queen Sheba ain't no damn fool. I want to know how much you got from De Leon. I want to know how much you and Cassie got under the table from De Leon in an offshore account, allegedly. That's what I want to know. Now, is it illegal for Cassie to work with somebody? Probably not, depending on how you outline it. But I'm just bringing you up to speed of how do we get here? How do we get here? Remember, I told you there was a territory war, a market war going on between Diddy and De Leon. De Leon did not want, or I hope I'm saying it right, they did not want Diddy's face as the global face of their product. They wanted to, in certain demographics, they wanted to pretend they weren't even doing business with the likes of this black man. Hey, I'm just telling you, that's how it is sometimes. So they actually went back and forth and got into really, really heated standoffs. And Diddy pissed off the wrong people, because here we are. And they needed a little bit of help, right? Because it's one thing for him to piss them off, but it's another for somebody else to say, hey, listen, I can help you. What's in it for me? So my curious mind wants to know, what did Cassie receive from them, if anything? Now let me go. I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of that, right? Because I don't think anybody's really talking about that or helping you to connect the dots, or to connect the dots with that. Now, the government calls Special Agent Melissa Pendulum to the stand. She's a special agent. She works for the U.S. Attorney's Office, and her job is conducting search warrants, subpoenas, seizures, to review charts for this particular case. She verified that the trial team gave her the evidence to review, and she verified that, I reviewed. And not only that, I'm looking at the dates, the location. And when she say location, she's talking about two segments of location. The location for the city, the location for the hotels, the names that the reservations are under, the flights, the flight records, seat numbers, how much the tickets cost, you name it. Okay? So this is where they typically host the sex parties. LA is the top spot. LA. They love LA. And they like the London Hotel. And when I say they, I'm not just talking about Diddy. You got to read in between the lines what I'm trying to give you. They like this hotel called the London Hotel. All right? If they're not in LA, they'll take New York. Diddy would only use Miami if he had to. Now, when we think about the RICO, since we're talking about Miami, I want to talk about the RICO, the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization. It's a, okay, right? So, racketeering activity, I'm giving you the federal definition. Racketeering activity is a list of specific, usually serious crimes such as murder, drug trafficking, or fraud. They and you say, hold on, Queen Sheba, what have they established? They've established a drug trafficking with Brendan Paul. They've established a drug trafficking with Jane Doe. They've established a drug trafficking with Cassie. And let me be very specific about the trafficking. Whatever drugs he liked, they originated from Los Angeles. So there seems to be a type of drug, the potency of the drugs that he liked came from Los Angeles and had to be transported to Miami. That's where that comes in. So when we say serious crime, racketeering activity, a list of specific serious crimes such as murder, we haven't heard about that, right? Nobody's been able to prove anything. They have proven the drug trafficking. And then the fraud is where we kind of get into the Jane Doe testimony of her saying, I did the freak offs and he promised me affection. He promised me date night. He promised me things would be different. He promised me love. He promised me one-on-one type. That's fraud, according to them, y'all, not to me. So then we when we talk about the definition of sex trafficking, federal definition of sex trafficking in the US, it's the recruitment, harboring, transportation, or obtaining of a person for the purpose of a commercial sex act. They were able to establish the recruitment and the transportation and tied it into commercial sex acts. Let me put it all in the chat for you. Here's the federal breakdown of sex trafficking. I want you to pay attention to commercial sex act. Remember the recruitment, they have text of Diddy saying, hey, call so-and-so. Hey, see if he's available. Hey, I need you to make a flight. They have proof of the transportation with the escorts being flown all around the world, nationally and internationally. So we've established that. So we got the recruitment, we got the transportation. Now let's talk about a commercial sex act. And according to the federal definition, a commercial sex act is defined as any act of sex on the account of which anything, are y'all listening? Anything of value is given to or received by any person. They got him. When he bought that fucking house for that girl, they got him. Anything of value, they got him. Purses, anything of value. Anything of value, they got him. They got him. They got him. A commercial sex act is defined as any sex act on account of which anything of value is given to or received by any person. Not only that, you paid the sex workers each and every time. There's receipts. They played audio of him telling KK to handle it. Her response is, it's been handled. They have text messages of him telling somebody named Robin to pay Jane Doe. They have evidence of Jane Doe texting him, can I get my money now so I can buy furniture for the house? Diddy colored outside the lines. Big time. They got him. Rico has been established. I can go on and on and on. I don't want to go on and on and on. I just wanted to put that out there for y'all to discuss. Now, let me ask you something. In your opinion, is this enough for you? Is this enough? And the reason why I say you have to remember the jury are just normal people like us. And when I've been looking today and I looked at those white men, listen, there was a point in time where they got to listen to something and watch a video. They watched a video and they listened to something that we were not allowed to hear. The whole courtroom, meaning them, the jurors, the prosecution, the defense, everybody had on headphones. We were trying our best. And I watched the reactions. There's an older Black woman that may be in her late 50s or early 60s. I watched her her face flinch, but she corrected and she sighed. The white men, I watched them on the jury. Now, you know how you put your hands on your face when you have your like if you're going into the principal's office and somebody has their hand on their face, like a few fingers on their face, listening to you intently. I can count 3 white men that had the same gestures. They all had their hands on the face, and I said, that's done. It's a wrap. That's a move of authority. These are prominent men. These are men that probably run their own businesses. They're used to talking to their employees. And when you put your hands on your face just to hear somebody's side, to me, their minds are already made up. And as I'm talking, I'm watching and I'm trying to look at the body language and the behavior. I'm like, okay, that's 1 against them, 2, 3, 4. Oh, they got it. Now, he's going to need a Hail Mary. And he may have had one called juror number 6, but they nipped that shit in the bud. They nipped juror number 6 in the bud and got him smooth up out of there. And they also have their eyes on another juror. Listen, let me tell you what they're doing. They have their eyes on another juror that they've been complaining about. Now, let me tell you how sophisticated the government is. When you think about behavioral, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience. Let me tell you what they're doing. They're not being real aggressive with what they want. They're socializing it. And what you do when you socialize something, you put it out there in a non-threatening way. So they socialized their concerns with juror number 6 before asking for him to be removed, right? They socialized it, kind of got a feel for it, went back, questioned him not once, not twice, but 3 times, and then came back, had concerns after each line of questioning, and then finally said, we got to remove him, right? Rightfully so, because if he was dishonest about his residence, there you go. Now they're socializing the idea there may be an issue with this other juror who's whispered to be another minority man. Number 2. See, he had a 1, and you got to count it now. Like you playing spades. When they say how many books you got, that was 1. Now, this juror may have been a possible, but the way the government has come to play ball, they're going to eliminate any and all alignment if they can. And they socialized it. And they say, we've rectified the issue. We're okay. But watch how the game is played, baby. Because if they need to, if they feel like there's any chance of him voting or leaning on the side of finding Diddy not guilty, don't be surprised if you hear about another juror being removed, okay? Very sophisticated game of chess. They're also socializing the idea of removing Diddy from the courtroom. Let me tell you, they're socializing it. I'm not going to ask for it directly, Your Honor, but I'm going to say that I saw Mr. Combs. What they said is our colleagues that are seated in the back of the courtroom have noticed Mr. Combs nodding his head. And we feel like, this was last Friday, we feel like he's doing it as a gesture to intimidate the witness. Now, listen to you in the public. Why you see how the narrative now because y'all know, y'all be like, yeah, the judge did tell Diddy to quit nodding his head. Who brought that up? Who's been socializing that? So now the next time I come around, if he can't stop shaking his head, because what they said is, we're not asking for Mr. Combs to be removed from the courtroom. In my head, I said, yet. Because I understand the psychology of the play. Yet you're socializing it. And what it's going to show is that the prosecution, the government has been very kind. They've been very nice. They've been very patient. They've been very diligent in ensuring that Mr. Combs, if you understand how it works, that Mr. Combs get a decent and a fair trial. But then when I'm ready, boom, Your Honor, we've tried. We've been nice. We've extended ourselves. We recommend that Mr. Combs, boom, don't be surprised if you see that. That's what we call socializing. Okay. Now let's back it up. Let's go back. I just wanted to kind of put y'all up to game, how this game really works. Okay. So a lot of people in the industry tend to do their dirt at a hotel in Los Angeles called the London Hotel. Now, don't y'all go and book no damn flights so y'all can see what these rooms are. Stay your ass out of LA. Stay your ass out of the London Hotel, okay? Let me find out some of y'all on them flights to the London Hotel. Now, the government is sneaky, 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 sneaky. They introduced evidence from 2009 to show that the sex trafficking has been going on for over 16 years. And to show that the racketeering, the Rico, has been going on for over 16 years. Why is this important? This is way before Cassie. So if the jury is confused and or conflicted emotionally about Cassie, forget about that. What about 2009? What about this? What about that? Very clever. The defense can't do shit with that. They can't do nothing with that. You can't really fight that. That's fact. That's phone calls. That's audio. That's text. Very clever. We're going to get you one way or the other. Even if these people don't believe the women, they going to believe these facts because we going to put it in their face. We ain't going to even make you look like a bad guy anymore. We just going to get somebody else to come in and read it. And that is the most clever play I've seen it. They didn't even want to read the, can you read that for us? They got people that are not even tied to the trial. Excellent, excellent strategy. Young girl, probably about 25, 26, brought her over. She's non-threatening. She's just a paralegal assistant. Can you read to us what these texts say? Look, she's of Middle Eastern descent. The judge is of Middle Eastern descent. Lovely young girl, innocent. She ain't got no dog in this fight. Believable, credible. You can't attack her defense because you're gonna look like assholes. She's just doing her job. Excellent strategy on the behalf of the government. Got him. Got him. You get what I'm saying? Watch this. Got his ass flying people. Red eye flights. Red eye flights. I told you about the clip that they played. When I tell you they hit the jury, listen, if there was any doubt on the jury, they eliminated it today. Because whatever they played for them, I know is riveting. They didn't just play one video. They didn't just play two videos. They played three. And one of the videos was 39 minutes long. So you can imagine what that was, right? 39-minute video. What's probably happening? What's probably going on? And then they so player with it, they say, go ahead and start it at the 10-minute and 48-second mark. And the reason why I'm being so animated, because I want to put you in the courtroom. I want you to visualize what's happening, right? That's my job, to bring it back to you. And baby, when I tell you we were stretching our damn necks like ostrich, what is it? Ostriches. Baby, we was trying to see. Heads was moving. Listen. Next video. They asked her, how long is this video? 1 minute and 18 seconds. Can we play the video for the jurors? Remember, we don't get to see it or hear it. What's the next video? This video is 1 minute and 23 seconds. Can we play it for the jury? And that's when that older Black lady seemed disturbed. She shook her head. She exhaled. Oh, I know what I want to say. The white men were very composed. Very composed. What does that say about the psychology of it? They're sure. When they're composed, they're sure, in my opinion, about what decision needs to be made. They didn't flinch. They didn't squirm in their seats. Composed. That, to me, that means it's done. It's a wrap. I already made my mind up. I'm looking at this because I have to. So somebody said, what videos were they looking at? I suspect the 39-minute video, I suspect may have been a freak off. May have been a freak off. The sounds of it. Yeah. Yep. So then, right? There was uh there was one juror, his face turned red. He was a little bit younger. His face turned red, real red. I watched him and he bent over. And what I attribute that to is a level of shame, not for him, but just shame. Like, damn, I'm watching this. I shouldn't even be listening to this. I could be wrong, but his face turned red. And at one point, thank you, Mixie. She says, brilliant observation. At one point, I said, he's ashamed to even be connected to this. And if that is accurate, that's another guilty. That's another guilty. Okay. Shame, flustered, blood rushing to your face. At one point, I thought he was going to cry. I thought, and I was looking, I'm like, is he crying? Is he about to cry? He didn't cry, but I thought he was about to. Okay. And he recovered quickly, but I caught it. Now, Diddy's team, I know he got the dream team and got the best of the best, but they going to have to step it up. I think y'all are underestimating these girls from Little House on the Prairie. I'm gonna start calling them Little House on the Prairie, baby, them Laura Ingalls, because that's what it's given. You underestimating these girls. These girls, they said, listen, Maureen Comey, her dad is an FBI agent. Listen, sir, y'all gonna have to step it up, Brian Steele. Y'all gonna have to step it up, Mark. Y'all getting paid a mighty fine dollar. You better pull something. What Denzel say? I'm leaving here with something. You better pull something out that damn rabbit hat. And number one, why would you even argue race? That was the stupidest thing. You know that makes white people and other races uncomfortable when black people talk about race. Why would you argue race when it came to a juror? You would have been better off arguing harassment. Harassment based on the amount of times that they question him, intimidation. Anything but race. You know they not finna give us no damn race card. They ain't gonna let you pull that. They ain't gonna let you pull that. I could tell the judge was irritated. I could tell. I was like, you idiot, in my head. Why the fuck? And then if you gonna play the damn race card, whether it's true or not, now I do believe there's some strong biases here. I do believe there's some strong biases here. Absolutely. If you think that listen, can we talk? If you think that you got an all white team on the government and everybody feels everybody's equal and we love everybody, child, please. Let me tell you something. I told y'all a while back, I said, the goal is to win, whether we're talking about the defense and or the prosecution. The eyewitnesses, the star witnesses, the people that have immunity, everybody want to win in this mofo. If you don't think that if I got to get rid of a black dude to win, you crazy. If you don't think I got to pick off another man of color to win, you crazy. I'm going to pick off whoever and I'm not saying, I'm just saying you got to think about how people, what they going to do. This is a huge fucking case. You don't think they want to win? You don't think that these girls will receive the highest recognition and honor to take down Diddy? Baby, do you not know what's on the line? Hell yeah, that's got, listen, racism, placism, acism, whatever. And I'm a deny all the way to the fucking bank. Do you understand me? So why in the hell would you go head to head with them about race? No, they should have never saw it coming. And if anything, why let Xavier do it? Get somebody else to do it. Brian would have been better suited to argue that. Get one of them white girls to argue race. Get somebody else to do it if you're gonna go that route. But don't let the black person stand up, because soon as the black person say it, it's null and void. It's null and void, child. I feel like that was a huge misstep. Huge misstep on the behalf of the defense. You didn't think it through. And if you're going to do it, a black man cannot lead the charge. They already don't like y'all. You get what I'm saying? Get Shapiro, get Tenney to do it. Somebody that's non-threatening or perceived to be non-threatening. And I'm not calling anybody threatening, but come on, did y'all think about this? If I was Diddy, I asked for my damn money back. But listen, but other than that, that's probably that's one of the ones I was disappointed. I was disappointed in that call. because you gotta slip that one underneath the table. People are uncomfortable talking about race. People feel like we cry wolf no matter what. You should have left that one out. Now, I told you about now let's talk about these text messages, baby. And let me tell you, when I said these girls, Diddy at one point text Cassie and said, "Are you horny? Do you want to celebrate Christmas with a freak off?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm horny." But then she couldn't do the freak off because she was on her cycle. And I'm trying to use, words that's not too triggering. Okay. So he instructs her, the recruitment, remember sex trafficking, the recruitment, he instructs her to call somebody named Jen. And then Cassie reaches out to Jen or whoever, Vin, and Cassie asks this person, this one escort, if he had somebody else's number or whoever this man was. But that's the recruitment, the hotel and everything. And why is this important? Because there's a text exchange of Diddy asking Cassie to reach out. Now, if my memory serves me correct, that's probably the first time I saw the evidence of him asking Cassie. But keep in mind, I was not in the courtroom the first 2 weeks of the trial. So since I've been here, this is hardcore proof where I've seen him ask her to reach out to the escort, and she did. And when I tell you Cassie was very good at what she did, baby, straight to the point. You hear me? Good at what she did. Listen. Cassie was like, "Listen, we're going to be at this hotel. Can you make it?" They like to go at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., or 3 a.m. most times. She said, "Hello, Star. Basically, are you available?" Why did the escort tell her, "I'm available for voyeurism and any other fetishes that you have"? Cassie is not innocent. She had worked with this one before. He said, "This time I can do whatever you need me to do. You want me to watch? You want me to get freakier? You got a different fetish you want me to try?" She said, "Yeah, it'll be late though." He said, "What you want me to do?" She's smart. She says, "We'll talk about it when you get here." So he says, basically, I know the rules now. You want me to dress casual and bring baby oil? She said, "No, just dress casual. We don't need you to bring baby oil this time." Then they go to another text message of Cassie outreaching another one called Johnny. So she told Johnny, "Hey, we need you tonight. How far away? How quick can you make it?" He's like, "I'm 5 minutes away." She said, "Okay, bet. Stand by." Then she came back and she said, "Nah, actually, we don't need you." So what this tells me is that they found somebody else, right? They have preferences of who they like to use. So then she told him, "Nah, we don't really need you." And then she changed her mind a little bit later and retexted Johnny and says, "Yeah, we do need you. Come at this time and drive around LA until I tell you to pull up to the hotel." He said, "All right." Now, at this point, I think the jury got tired of hearing about them damn freak offs because one of them was getting real sleepy. I just wanted to insert that in there. Okay. Today was the stillest I've ever seen Diddy. And when I tell you he was still, normally he moves, he's passing notes. He passed 1 or 2 notes earlier in the day. But when they were running down this Rico and establishing the enterprise and establishing the evidence to support the sex trafficking, he was still. You hear me? Still. Cassie picks back up. I guess the freak off happened. Then she sends another text to a different escort named Dave. Guess what time she sent that for him to come do the freak off? 8 a.m. in the morning. Y'all, that is hilarious to me because most of us are on our way to work. Most of us are on our way to work or already in the office in the cubicle, honey. They was ready to go again, child. 8 a.m., 8:01 a.m. in the morning. She texts him, she outlines it, she sets up the freak off, the London hotel. And at this point I said, baby, these a bunch of sex addicts and druggies. They have texts from D-Rock. They established that. They have texts from KK. They established that. They have texts from somebody named Daniel Phillips. They established that. It's done. It's a one and done. I ain't gonna even try to hold y'all and make up some shit. I'm not. I want to talk about this jury real quick, and then we can get. First of all, let me see what's y'all's reaction to all of this. Do you feel like, I know we've established the Rico, we've established the enterprise, because the money came from Combs Enterprise. And at one point, remember, Jonathan Perez testified that Combs Enterprise actually changed their name and became Combs Global. Baby, why would you put global? That probably, he never saw it global. Now you're really going to jail. Okay, Jules says there's no proof. This case, okay, do you feel like I think what you're saying is you feel like there's no proof. Anybody else share that same sentiment? They got him, y'all. He gonna do some time. Oh, let's talk about the jury. The only way Diddy is not gonna do time is if the jury throw him a Hail Mary. Is if the jury throw him a Hail Mary. And the only way I can see that happening is if the government underestimated some of these white men. And maybe I'm just saying, the only way this is going to happen is if some of these white men are playing poker, keeping a poker face, and then boom, really pro Diddy. That's the only Hail Mary that I can see coming through. I don't know how the defense is going to defend this. They get to cross-examine the special agent tomorrow morning, and then Brendan Paul will take the stand. Do you feel like the defense may be able to come up with the strategy to defend the hard evidence that we saw today in the courtroom, the black and white? What are your thoughts? Let me go through some of the comments and we up out of here. Thank you, Nikki, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate you. Denise, aka 1908, gifted one Queen Sheba Darling membership. Thank you. I appreciate you, ladies. Let's see what we got. Let me put on my glasses. Hold on. I think, let me tell you something. The family, now Mama Combs came today, but the kids were not there today. Okay, Forever Plant-Based says he's going to do some time for prostitution, but I really think one of the jurors, I think, okay, I Am Susie B says the feds have a 98% conviction rate. Yes, but this is a trial by jury. That's the only Hail Mary. That's the only Hail Mary. Now, let me ask y'all something, because I wrote this down last week. How many jurors would he need to find him not guilty in order to win this trial? Is there a specific number? Let me look. Somebody help me out. Because I asked that question and I got different answers. Okay, to find not guilty. Okay. A unanimous verdict for the defendant. Ah, shit. It says in a criminal trial, a jury must reach a unanimous verdict for a defendant to be found not guilty. This means all jurors must agree on the night. He going to jail. I'm sorry. I don't even need to finish reading. He going to jail. Okay. Verdict. Yeah, it must be unanimous. He going to jail. Speak Your Piece said Diddy is not walking away. No, not after today. But I knew it anyway. But I know public opinion is that most of you feel like it wasn't strong. Y'all, it don't have to be strong. It just needs to be technical. Daniel Black says the Rico don't mean if it seems like a scam. Just like in the OJ trial, it seems like a very sloppy case. I might vote not guilty knowing he was guilty because the case is flawed. Okay, but what about everything I just shared with you today, Daniel? But you know what? Daniel is the perfect example of that's what I'm saying. Jurors, depending on the juror, it may not matter what you show them if they already have their mind made up. And that can work both ways, unfortunately. Trey Carter says, thank you, Trey. Trey says that 98% conviction rate comes from a lot of pleas. So he's saying most people plead out in federal cases. Let me go all the way to the top to see if I can just get some random comments. Let's see. Okay. Queen of 10,000 Moons says Maureen Comey is not asking about trafficking kids. No. I mean, are you just saying that just to say it, or are you trying to go somewhere with that? Brutally Honest says, question, racketeering doesn't profit legally. Racketeering doesn't profit, have to be made. Yes. Okay. Let me tell you. Yes, there was a profit. Remember, I read it. I read it to you because let me go back. The recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for the purposes of a commercial sex act. Now, if you go back to what is a commercial sex act, it is defined as any sex act on account of which anything of value is given to or received by any person. It could be a damn dollar. It could be $1. He can give you a piece of bubble gum. Anything of any value. That's it. That's all. That's why I said they got him. Jen Owens says, unless one or more jurors totally ignore the law, Diddy is getting convicted. Yeah, pretty much, because they would all have to agree on a not guilty verdict. I don't see that happening. That's why I said he's going to have to call Donald to see if Donald is willing to pardon him, sell him a pardon or something. I think they underestimated the government. And I don't think anybody expected those women, Little House on the Prairie, to come out swinging like this. And they did. And they're going to continue to tomorrow. They're going to continue to swing tomorrow with Brendan Paul. I think Brendan, listen. Okay, billionaire said are you hoping for a hung jury? Let's talk about it. A hung jury. And then this will be my last one, so I can let y'all go. That's where they cannot unanimously agree on a verdict in a trial. In other words, the jurors are unable to reach a consensus on whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty. This situation typically leads to a mistrial. Damn. It could be deadlocked, mistrial, retrial. Listen, these people have been doing this for a long time. They picked those jurors for a reason, each side. But the government seems as if they're 3 to 5 steps ahead. Now, they leaned all the way in. Okay, y'all want diversity? Y'all want Black people and Latinas, and you want all of this? We're going to give you all of that. We're going to give you Jenny from the block. We're going to give you some Black men. We're going to give you all of that. And we're going to take their asses right back down. We're going to take them. We're going to comb through every transcript, every answer, every response. And guess what? If we find anything that's conflicting against what they said, they out of here. And they already got one. They have their eyes on 2. And they've been replacing them with white men. You don't think these people have done the psychology? You don't think they have experts that say, this is who you got to pick and why? You don't think the government, baby, I'm telling you, they left no stone unturned. I just hope Diddy's team came with the same energy. The same energy. Oh, Riri says, let's see how many days it takes the jury to come up with a verdict. Now, at this point, KK, you got to take the stand. Do you feel, let me ask y'all this real quick. Do you feel like KK is going to take the stand, or do you feel like the government is going to apply that pressure? You think she'll turn state? You think she'll stand 10 toes down and take the stand on the behalf of the defense, or is she going to flip? What do you think? What do you think? I'm asking. KK, if I was KK, I'd be way in Dubai. I would go where Russell Simmons is. Okay, y'all feel like she's gonna fold. Fanny says she gonna fold. Fanny said KK's gonna fold. The one says she's gonna, I don't know if you complete the fifth. Chef says she gonna flip like a pancake. Okay. If KK takes a sin, she would just plead the fifth. If on the defense side, okay. If KK, Nurse Coco says if KK flips, she ain't safe afterwards. Well, here's the thing. Her back is up against the wall. Because either you gonna flip or you going to jail. I don't think y'all know how deep the game go. You gonna flip or you going to jail. Now, if it were you, thank you. Ota on the go says, Queen Sheba, we got to do something. I love your channel. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. Well, that's what we saying, Valerie. Valerie's asking, does KK have immunity? Not to my knowledge. Listen, now I see why everybody got immunity. They all committed crimes. With immunity, hold on. You said with immunity, are you required? Everybody has been testifying so far. Hold on. Because they promise you safety. You know what I mean? If you testify. So if a witness is granted immunity from prosecution, they are generally required to testify. Yeah. Refusal to testify after being granted immunity can result in being held in contempt of court, potentially leading to fines or jail time. I would rather do that. If I was a bad girl like KK, y'all gonna have to go on and put me in jail. Does that make sense? Now, how much jail time can she get? Contempt of court. When a witness is granted immunity and then refuses to testify, they can be held in contempt of court. This is a separate legal action where the court can impose penalties, including fines and or imprisonment for disobeying a court order. What would you do before we leave if you were in KK's shoes? Would you testify or would you refuse to testify? No, she can't run from a subpoena, but she can refuse to testify. Right? Here's her choice. Either she flip the house and go against Diddy, or she stay loyal to Diddy. If she remains loyal to Diddy, there is a high probability they're going to send her to jail anyway. If she flips the house against Diddy, some of y'all feel like there could be repercussions. Either way, KK is in a bad spot. Baby, I'm with you, Leisha. Leisha said, baby, I'm telling you, I don't love nobody more than me. Listen, I'm trying to tell you.
Ever diagnosed with any type of like mental illness or any type of diagnosis, any type of learning disability, anything like that?
I have a crazy problem.
Really? Because that's what they listen. Oh, Carl says, who is KK? That's Christina Coram. That's Diddy's right hand person, chief of staff, the go-to, the one that fixes everything. So Tina says, I would testify on the behalf of the state or behalf of Diddy. Okay, Forever Plant-Based says they're not giving her immunity, so I don't know nothing if I'm KK. Listen, period. I'm just saying, if I was a bad girl like KK, either way, it's a bad situation. It's a bad situation. That's it. So that's it. That's all. I just wanted to run that down to y'all. Tomorrow, we're going to be focused on Brendan Paul. You pretty much know that story. So what I'll be focused on, if anything that I find important that stood out, stuff that we don't have knowledge of just yet, text messages, things we don't know. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Gina refused to testify and ran as victim number 3. Yeah. Talk with Tatiana TV. She says Gina refused. But see, I get it. As a victim, KK is a co-conspirator. You get what I'm saying? Special K says she may be. Oh, okay. I'm glad you said that. Special K says she may be on the defense witness list. The defense has to give their witness list by this Wednesday. I can't wait to see who they bring into that courtroom. So make sure y'all pull up here. If you don't pull up any other day, pull up on Wednesday. I'm going to have a list. Queen, if KK hasn't flipped by now, she ain't. Right. That's good, I guess. You know, if you're in that type of organization. But I'm going to need some shit in play if I'm going to go down with you. I need something for my family. I need this, and I need it set up quick. You hear me? Somebody said Gina was paid off. Probably. Who knows? I mean, I don't know for a fact, but ain't no telling. Probably didn't get much. And thank you, everybody. Hold on. Y'all are saying 75? Let me see. Wait a minute. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Y'all must know something I don't. Not yet. I'm almost there. Not yet. Not yet, Tina Turner. All right. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to let y'all go. It's a lot. And thank you for tuning in. We up out of here. All right. I'll talk to you a little bit later. I think my screen just froze. Hold on, y'all. J Mill said, hell, I don't even listen to the news. I just be waiting on you. Listen.
You all should be ashamed. How can you drink right after a funeral? Like this? Give me another one, then, Brady. Fred Sanford, you just left the house of the Lord, and now I'm in my house. All of y'all ought to be ashamed drinking like a school of fish. My Bible says, be not drunk with wine. What does it say about scotch? Hey, listen. Cassie, why'd you go someplace else? Why'd you go ugly up somebody else's house? Who you calling ugly, sucker? You.